All right, let's talk about something that drives pretty much everyone in the events world crazy. It's this paradox, right? You create this perfect document, this masterpiece of information, and yet you still get asked the same questions over and over and over again. What is going on?
I'm talking about the wedding venue info packet. You know the one. Almost every single venue has one. It's supposed to be the solution, right? The thing that gets ahead of that endless stream of client questions. And hey, on the surface, it makes perfect sense. It seems super logical, super efficient.
And these things are not light reading. They are exhaustive. I mean, they are packed with absolutely everything. You've got your nitty-gritty venue rules, your super specific timelines, decor guidelines, when suppliers can show up. Oh, and the rain plan, can't forget that. Payment terms, the whole shebang. It's all there, supposedly, laid out in black and white.
So if you're the venue, you're thinking, job well done. You hand over this beautifully designed, super professional-looking PDF, and you pat yourself on the back. You're feeling pretty confident, thinking you've just armed your client with every possible answer. It's like you've nipped the whole communication problem in the bud.
And yet, the emails keep rolling in. Hey, just wondering, what time can I florist get there? Sorry to bother you, but what was the rain plan again? Can we hang decorations on this wall? So this is the big question we're digging into. If all the information is right there in the document, why does it feel like nobody's actually reading it?
All right, so let's get into the diagnosis here. And look, the issue isn't that your clients are lazy or that your information is bad. It's not. The real problem is this massive mismatch between the tool you're using, that PDF, and the reality of who's using it, and more importantly, how they're using it. And this is where you see that disconnect in bright, flashing lights. The venue's assumption is, okay, they're going to sit down with a cup of coffee and really read this 14-page document. But the bride's reality? Pfft, no way. She's skimming it on her phone in the back of an Uber, in between vendor appointments while trying to answer a text from her mom. She's got a million things going on. So this is the absolute key takeaway. It was never about how good your information is. Your details are probably perfect. The problem is you've packaged them in a format that's totally passive and static, and you're trying to use it for a process that's super active, totally dynamic, and almost entirely happening on a phone.
Okay, so let's get specific. Why does the PDF fail so consistently? Well, there are basically 4 big reasons, 4 core problems that make it the wrong tool for this job.
First up, they're static. Think about it. Things change, right? Maybe a policy gets an update, or you change a preferred supplier. So what do? You send out a new PDF. But the old one? It doesn't just poof into thin air. No, it's sitting right there in someone's inbox, just waiting to cause a whole lot of confusion later on.
Number 2, they are an absolute nightmare to navigate, especially on a phone. Your client has a quick question. What were the noise restrictions again? They don't remember if it was on page 5 or page 12. So what's easier, pinching and zooming and scrolling through a dense document, or just firing off a quick text? Yeah, exactly. They're going to do what's fastest for them every single time.
And that leads us right into the third point. Remember that PDF you sent them 6 months ago when they first booked? Well, guess what? It is now buried under an avalanche of emails about catering, guest lists, and, let's be real, a healthy dose of family drama. When they actually need that info, it's as good as gone, lost in the digital void. It's just not there when they need it. And finally, number 4, a generic PDF, it just doesn't feel personal. It feels like you're reading the terms and conditions for a software update. Because it's not tailored to their wedding, it gets mentally filed away as boring reference stuff, not as a helpful, personalized guide for one of the most important days of their life.
But here's the thing. This isn't just a small annoyance. It's a much bigger deal than that. Sticking with this broken system has real, tangible costs for your business. It's actually creating more work for you, not less.
Just think about it. Your team is burning valuable hours answering the same questions they've already answered in the PDF. They're repeating themselves constantly. The risk of some major miscommunication goes way up, and your whole team is stuck in this reactive mode, always putting out little fires instead of being proactive and organized.
So what's the end result? A client asks a question, and what's the go-to response from a staff member who's probably a little bit frustrated? It's in the info pack I sent you. I mean, sure, it's true, but it doesn't help. It really doesn't solve the problem at all.
Okay, now let's contrast that with this response. Everything is organized in your wedding portal. Whoa. See the difference? That's a completely different vibe. It points them to a solution, not back to the old problem. That tiny shift in wording signals a huge shift in how professional and organized you are.
And the psychological difference is huge. It's in the PDF that just feels dismissive. It makes the client feel like they're bothering you.
But it's in your portal? That feels premium. That says, we've got this handled, we're organized, we're modern, and we've made this easy for you. The difference in client experience is just massive.
So all of this brings us to the actual solution, because there is a much smarter digital way to handle all of this, an alternative that's actually built for how people plan things in the real world today.
And that alternative is what we call a digital information hub. So what is that? It's basically a single central spot online where every piece of information for a specific wedding lives. It's organized, it's always up to date, and anyone can get to it anytime. It becomes the one and only source of truth.
And a really good hub has a few key things that directly fix all the problems with the PDF. First, the info is organized by category, not lost in huge blocks of text. It's designed to work beautifully on a phone. It's easy to search. And maybe most important, it's specific to that event, and you can get to it with one click. No digging through old emails required.
Now, the best part about making this switch is that the payoff isn't just a one-time thing. It's this compounding benefit that completely transforms your workflow. It literally takes you from being reactive to being proactive.
I mean, just look at the results. Suddenly, your staff isn't being interrupted all the time because clients are finding their own answers. Your communication is way more consistent since everyone's looking at the same live info. Policies are crystal clear, the whole planning vibe is calmer, and the amount of admin work for your team just plummets.
So what you're really doing is flipping the whole dynamic on its head. That draining, constant cycle of questions and answers, it becomes a super smooth, self-service experience for your clients. You're empowering them. And by doing that, you're freeing up your own team. It's a win-win.
And so that leaves us with one last thing to think about. Planning a wedding is one of the most dynamic, fast-moving things there is, right? It's got a million moving parts. So the real question you've got to ask yourself is, in a world that's so dynamic, why are you still using a tool that's completely static?